First up on the research segment, I just found 4 research articles about violent video games and violence because I've always been interested in that subject. It's obviously a very controversial one, and I just am always of the beliefs that it's sort of like weed. There was so much anti-weed propaganda that then I think there was a compensation of pro-weed propaganda where it's weed still has a lot of negative impacts. I mean, it's not like smoking anything is healthy, and certainly weed itself and THC has, it can have a variety of impacts on your brain and body and mind. Violent video games, I think, obviously in the 90s, people went way too far about it, but I've just always been really? There's no risks? Really? There's no issues at all with any of it, ever? I find that a little hard to believe. You're telling me it has no impact. And you know what I mean? Doesn't the army, use them to, kind of train people? You're telling me, boys sitting for countless hours shooting people and playing out, simulations of murder, has zero impact on anyone's brain? So anyways, I thought I would be unbiased, and I would look at the research. I pulled up 4 articles, okay? This one from 2023, this one from 2007, this one from 2022, and this one from 2024, and we're just going to get one snippet from each, okay? So from this one from 2023, they found that the excessive use of video games causes addiction to technology, aggressive behaviors, sleep disorders, and poor school performance. In addition, it hinders social relationships and the development of emotional intelligence. To conclude, it's necessary to correctly use video games in particular and technologies in general, adapting their content to children's age, as well as the amount of time that they dedicate to use them. Next up, this one from 2007, so a bit older, says, results indicated that publication bias was a problem for studies of both aggressive behavior and visuospatial cognition. Once corrected for publication bias, studies of video game violence provided no support for the hypothesis that violent video game playing is associated with higher aggression. Fair enough, so counter perspective. However, playing violent video games remained related to higher visuospatial. Does it get, what type of S does it get? Visuo or visuo? Visuospatial cognition. So actually here, they're finding benefits of playing, and I believe that, of course. There are all kinds of effects. So actually, it can help with your visuospatial cognition, I believe that. So they did not support the conclusion that violent video games leads to aggressive behavior. So fair enough. That's one article. And, yeah, okay. This is a meta-analysis, and this one found that, and we're just looking in the abstract. You could go to the discussion, too, and find a similar, thing. Wait, we missed a discussion. It's a long discussion. See, sometimes they don't summarize it as easily as you might want. They found that their findings suggest that playing violent video games can affect players' behavioral disposition by increasing the potential for aggressive behavior to a similar extent. Wow, typo. Thus yielding comparable practical relevance. Honestly, I find typos in published articles all the time. And books and stuff. It's kind of crazy. So, just to go to the abstract, yeah, the year of data, polynomial regression, random effects meta-analysis with 30 effect sizes from 21 studies yielded a significant and relevant positive effect of violent video games on subsequent physically aggressive behavior. So they had 21 studies, and they found a fairly significant effect size. Reduced effect, but some effect when controlling for aggression at T1. So were the people already aggressive when they started playing? Even if they were, there's still a bit of an impact. And it matters both ways. Year of data collection did not correlate with effect size, and they confirmed the results of other meta-analyses with the added finding of a peak of effect size in early adolescence. So violent video games are found to affect people's aggressive behaviors the most in early adolescence. Good thing that's exactly when the people are playing them the most. The empirical finding provides support for basing age ratings on game publication on potential adverse behavioral effects. And lastly, on this part 1 of the research segment, this last article from 2024 that found that it's a systematic review, gathering and systematizing existing knowledge on video game-based... this is actually about video game-based interventions. So this is different. This is using video games as an intervention to reduce radicalization, which is, I think, a great idea because video games can have impacts on people, so you can use them intentionally like this. They found that certain interventions can reduce prejudiced behaviors towards outgroup individuals and increase resilience, empathy, and pro-social interactions. Fantastic. But it's necessary to do further research. Okay, so what did we learn? We learned that I'm right. No, we learned that obviously you shouldn't jump to conclusions, and things need to be studied in methodological ways, not just like, oh, I'm overreacting one way, now I'm overreacting the other way. I just have some self-awareness. Like people who are like, oh, it has no impact ever. It's like, why would it have no impact? Why would doing something for hours a day, which some people do, have no impact? Okay. This is a podcast or something.